And these were 2 of the 14 that were the worst of the bunch. There's only 14 around the world that have high or critical threat assessments in every single area that they look at, and 2 of them were in Libya, the embassy in Tripoli and the compound in Benghazi. I mean, if there was ever a place where a responsible, caring, compassionate, remember the liberals are always the ones that tell us that they're the compassionate ones. We're the hard-hearted ones. We're the ones that don't care about people. We're the ones that want to push grandma over the cliff. They, on the other hand, are the paragons of compassion, the paragon of caring, the paragons of tolerance. They're the ones that care about people. If there was ever a place where increased security was called for, it was at the embassy in Tripoli and the compound in Benghazi. And we know now that Hillary Clinton denied repeated requests for additional security. I mean, she left them exposed to lethal danger, lethal threat, and it wound up taking the lives of 4 Americans. Now, I want to go back to the phones here in a second, 888-589-8840. I got 3 video clips I want to play. Here is the mother of Sean Smith. She's one of the victims of Benghazi, interviewed by Jake Tapper of CNN. Jake Tapper, again, like Cheryl Atkinson of CBS, Jake Tapper is one of the few journalists out there that every once in a while he does some actual honest-to-goodness journalism, what journalists are supposed to do all the time. And he does some as he interviews the mother of Sean Smith, one of the victims in Benghazi. Let's listen. Here is clip 1.
One woman still looking for answers is Pat Smith. Her son, State Department Information Officer Sean Smith, was one of the 4 Americans killed. Pat, thanks so much for being here. I know this is not an easy time. How are you holding up?
Terrible. I cry every night. I don't sleep at night. I need answers.
What do you want answers to? What do you not know?
Why was there no security for him when they were supposed to have security? And the security that they did have was called back. It just, things do not add up, and I'm just told lies.
Last week, you heard this in the piece. The White House Press Secretary Jay Carney said that Benghazi happened a long time ago.
Yes, it did.
8 months ago.
Yes.
What's your reaction to that?
Why don't they have answers by now? They've had plenty of time to come up with something other than the things that they have not told me.
Now, you're listening to a mom. She lost a son. She is still grieving. She cries herself to sleep every single night. And her main question is what we were just talking about. Why was there no security? I just went over this with you. 264 diplomatic outposts, 14 of them rated high or critical in all 6 areas, and 2 of them were in Libya, and Hillary Clinton repeatedly denied additional requests for security, and you've got a grieving mother as a result. And ladies and gentlemen, that is squarely on the shoulders of Hillary Clinton. And, and she says, yeah, Jay Carney said it happened a long time ago, 8 months ago. What's your response? Is, well, how come we don't have any answers? They've had 8 months to come up with some kind of answers for us, and they still haven't done it. Now, here is clip 2, and again, we're dealing with this compassion issue. The liberals are the ones that are always telling us they're the people of compassion, they're the people that care, we're hard-hearted, we don't care about people, but listen to this.
You have expressed disappointment in the past because President Obama, then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, then Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta, all of them came to you, talked to you.
Yes.
And then you haven't heard from them. Have you heard from anybody in the Obama administration? Have you gotten any outreach or any answers at all?
I got one telephone call from a clerk that was a couple days after it happened. He was reading to me from the timeline, which I already had, and that was it. And since then, all they have told me is that I am not part of the immediate family, so they don't want to tell me anything.
So, I mean, this is amazing to me. I mean, they made a big show of how compassionate they were when the caskets came to the Air Force Base. Jeff played the soundbite for you in the first hour. Hillary Clinton still over the dead bodies of these 4 American diplomats connected to the diplomatic corps, 4 of them dead. And she is still repeating this obvious lie that it all had to do with the video. I mean, even though she knew better, we knew the night it happened that this was an al-Qaeda terrorist attack. And so she says, they made a big show of talking to me then when the cameras were rolling, but I have not heard a peep from any of them since. The only outreach I've gotten from this administration in the last 8 months is a phone call from a clerk who gave me information that I already had. And they won't tell me anything more because they tell me I'm not a part of the immediate family. I am the boy's mother, criminally. And they will not give me any information. I mean, that's just a smokescreen. They can give her information if they want. She's the mother. She's grieving. She's lost a son. I mean, anybody with an ounce of compassion, anybody with one single solitary ounce of human decency and compassion would try to answer this woman's questions. But no, she gets nothing. Here is clip number 3.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton testified about the Benghazi tragedy shortly before she left office. I want to play a little bit of what she said.
With all due respect, the fact is we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make? It is our job to figure out what happened and do everything we can to prevent it from ever happening again, Senator.
What was your reaction to that?
Well, that's what I want to know. Why did it happen? And she is in charge. Why couldn't she do something about it? I blame her.
You blame Secretary of State Clinton?
Yes.
Why?
Because that's her department. She's supposed to be on top of it. And yet she claims that she knows nothing. It wasn't told to her. Well, who is running the place?
Well, the answer is Hillary Clinton's running the place. So she makes no bones about it, and I'm with her 100% here. Now, I think Obama ultimately has responsibility because he's the commander-in-chief. He picked Hillary Clinton. This happened on his watch. He went AWOL because he wants Hillary Clinton. He knew this thing was going to go blow up. He wants Hillary Clinton to take the fall for this thing. He doesn't want to be anywhere near this thing when it blows up. That's why he went off and bowled or watched Netflix or something while 4 Americans are being killed. He doesn't want anything to do with this. He wants to be able to point the finger at Hillary and say, hey, it was her doing. She was the one that goofed up. Don't look to me. I picked her. I trusted her. She's the one that dropped the ball. And this mother saying, I blame Hillary Clinton. State Department, it's her department. She's running it. She's accountable. I blame her. And I am in complete agreement with her assessment. Well, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jim, Seminole, Oklahoma. Jim, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Thank you. I was just curious to know, Brian, why wasn't there boots on the ground already there to protect our Americans there in Benghazi?
Well, I'll tell you, I think that is the question of the hour, Jim, because, I've gone over this. I mean, this is the thing that stands out to me. I haven't heard anybody else talking about this, but they knew that this was a dangerous place. They absolutely knew that this was a dangerous place, and that's why they requested additional boots on the ground there, and Hillary Clinton said, no, you're not going to get them.
Before all this ever came down, we've got Americans there, and we should have American Marines already there to protect them.
Absolutely.
In case something like this happens.
Absolutely, and they should have done that, Jim. You're exactly right, because of the 264 diplomatic outposts, this was one of the 14 these were 2 of the 14 that had the greatest security threat. And I remember when the Libya thing went down in Tripoli, I guess that was at the Egyptian embassy. I don't know about Tripoli. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong here. But one of those embassies, maybe it was in Egypt when our embassy got attacked there, or maybe it was in Tripoli, where we had the Marines were not allowed to carry weapons that had bullets in them. They could carry the weapons, but they had to be unloaded. They were absolutely useless. So, Jim, your question is a good one. There is no satisfactory answer to that. There should have been Marines on the ground before this thing ever went down to provide security for that compound. All right, Jim, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Let's go to Pamela in Friendship, Tennessee. Pamela, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Hi, Brian. I was recently made aware of this Barack Obama's book, The Audacity of Hope. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Have you read the book?
I have not. I've read excerpts of it, but not the whole thing.
All right.
I'm not sure.
On page 61,
I don't know if I can bring myself to do it.
From him that I'd like to share, and it just, to me, is just a summation of exactly how he is betraying the American people in this country. And I'd like to read the quote.
Okay, go right ahead.
It says, I will stand with the Muslims should the political winds shift in an ugly direction. End of sentence.
Wow, read that one again. This is from page 61 of his...
261.
261. Read that again.
I will stand with the Muslims should the political winds, W-I-N-D-S, shift in an ugly direction?
Now, is there any context around that? What's he talking about before
Well, I don't
and
have
after
the
that?
book. A friend now has the book.
But as far as you know, that was kind of in context. And
No, that is what he wrote.
yeah. All right. Well, and I mean, there's certainly nothing that he has done as president that would make us think that he didn't mean it when he wrote it. Because,
That's exactly right. And that's a statement of treason.
Well, it certainly is. All right, Pamela, listen, I appreciate that. And again, Mike Huckabee saying, look, he's not going to finish out his term. That's Governor Huckabee saying that. And, because of the seriousness of this thing, and I don't know, it's all going to depend on what the media does. It's all going to depend because we're already seeing CBS News is gathering, they're surrounding, they're like, I think Ann Coulter used the analogy that the mainstream media is like the Secret Service, that they surround Barack Obama and they are there to protect him from every assault of truth. Every time somebody speaks the truth and it reflects poorly on President Obama, the media is there to try to diffuse that statement of truth. And Cheryl Atkinson, she's getting ready to get fired by CBS or move on because she's telling the truth about Obama. They don't like it. Back in 2. Stay with us.